Hello, hello. We are live with
Woo.
Gamebound, which is the little show that we do sometimes where we play random games. And today we are playing A Penny for My Thoughts. And you know what, guys? Totally forgot to have the overlays in the right, or the cameras in the right place, because I am a loser. So
You're a
let's
winner in my book,
let's
Caleb.
attempt to fix this.
As long as you're. Oh wait, no, that doesn't work.
There we go. There we go.
I
Now
feel like you
everybody is a
never have
proper
to stop
person.
Seth's video. What is that about?
Because he's
I'm
the
just
first. He's
always-
the first person in the overlay. I always have the same order for everybody, so it's Seth, Emily, Jordan, Alyssa. That's the order.
I'm just always in the right spot.
Or no, it's Seth, Emily, Alyssa, Jordan. Jordan's the last person actually.
That should be.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But yeah, so we're here. We're doing a little game called A Penny for My Thoughts. It's not a penny for your thoughts. It's a penny for my thoughts. So this game, the like rulebook is actually written basically as if it is an actual medical procedure. Like a therapy session, like do this and then now do this, and you pretending to actually be the people as a part of this group of people, this therapy session. So Penny for My Thoughts is a game where we all play amnesiacs. How do you pronounce that? People who have lost their memories.
And the Syax.
Amnesiacs. We play amnesiacs who have, people who have lost their memories and want to get them back, turns out. So basically this game is kind of like it's like a pseudo role-playing game, really. Like there's a lot of like out of character things that happen.
Sounds more like an improv game.
Yeah, it's kind of like an improv game, really. It's definitely still in like the role-playing game genre, but it's a little different than what we're normally used to.
Normal.
Yeah.
What's normal?
So let me just go ahead and read this, shall I?
Lest you forget.
Yeah, so this procedure should take approximately 3 hours and will use the following materials: a facts and reassurances document, which you can find in the handout section of your Roll20 page. It's Appendix 1. And so we'll read that when we get to it, but also a questionnaire for each patient to be filled out throughout the therapy process. That's on the map there. You see all of our names and all the little things there. 5 slips of paper for each patient, which we're not around an actual table, so we're not gonna have slips of paper. I'm just gonna have all of you write the things that you need to write down these slips of paper down in chat, and I'll translate them to whatever. But we'll get to that. Also, an opaque container for the memory triggers that you write on these slips of paper, such as a hat or coffee can. We're gonna use a rollable table on Roll20, so that's where we will keep our slips. And a bowl of pennies containing at least 4 pennies per patient. We don't have a bowl, but we do have a bunch of pennies on the map there on Roll20. And so it says make sure to have all the materials before continuing. We do have all the materials, so we will continue.
Woo.
These directions use the metaphor of a journey to help you understand the treatment. Think of the process of self-discovery as a trip to a familiar but distant land, one you haven't visited in a long time. If your treatment is a journey, the 2 documents provided are a guide to your surroundings. The first is a collection of facts and reassurances. We recognize that someone in your state needs certain guarantees about how the world works. You should refer to this document throughout the treatment so as to not lead yourself or your fellow patients astray. And so I'll read that now. Appendix 1. So, well, I don't know how to pronounce the name of this drug. Emily, maybe you could help me.
I mean, I would think it'd be like
It's a fake drug.
Nemocine.
Nemocine? Yeah, let's do that. Nemocine. Nemocine helps to break down the barriers between your mind and the minds of your fellow patients. It also weakens the barriers between the compartments of your mind. Memories, dreams, books, movies, all of these may mix together. To help you distinguish fact from fiction, we have prepared this guide to the world you live in. You may treat the following statements about the world as true. It is the early 21st century. Technology, cars, planes, computers, networks, mobile phones, etc. has not advanced beyond your hazy familiarity with it, nor has humanity been thrown into a new dark age. The world is a mundane place. Its wonders and terrors come from simple and personal things like the birth of a child or the death of a loved one. Rest assured that you have not haunted by spirits, nor are you tormented by aliens. You are a normal, everyday person. This isn't to say that you might not be a remarkable individual, but feats like leaping across rooftops or reading people's minds are simply impossible. You are not an action hero, nor are you a Greek god. Your condition was caused by physiological or psychological trauma surrounding events in your personal life. It was not caused by a shadowy government conspiracy or similar organization. So they actually have
isn't fun game anymore.
they have a version of these documents that for like different play styles, and one of them is like you are actually a part of a government conspiracy, and like yeah. We hope that this will aid you in recovering your identity. If you have difficulties with this, you may also refer to the How Do You Deal with Inconsistent Memories Among the Group sidebar in Chapter 3. Please know that we are monitoring your progress throughout the treatment, though for reasons already explained, we cannot intervene during it. Should you accidentally recall false memories, we will collect you once the process is complete and attempt your treatment again with a new therapy group. Our goal is to help you remember how to be the functional member of society you once were.
So it's just rules on what to do if you screw up.
Yes, basically.
It's cool.
Yeah. The second document is the questionnaire. Each of its sections provide a sense of direction for a trip into your past. You will fill it out over the course of the section. So you can see that on the map there. So each of us has a section for recalling a pleasant memory, recalling an unpleasant memory, and recalling how you came to be here, or otherwise, how you lost your memory. Yeah, we'll probably go through those sections as we play the game. You have also little spots there to put your pennies as you gain them. So, first, we are going to write memory triggers. Take a few minutes to clear your thoughts. You may be disturbed by your situation, but it's important to remain calm and relaxed throughout the treatment. We recommend dimming the lights and making yourself comfortable. As you do this, try to open your mind to the thoughts of your fellow patients. The dose of nemesine you have been given will allow you to connect with their minds. As the drug begins to take effect, you will catch glimpses of memories. While these brief flashes might seem to be from your own mind, and indeed some may be, it is more likely that they are from the minds of other patients. We call what you are seeing memory triggers. These are people, places, objects, feelings, or sensations that are strongly associated with a particular incident. You will use them as the starting points for your memories. Some examples can be found on the following page, such as your mother's perfume, your family's ski lodge, a smooth stone in the shape of a heart, the feeling of being lost in the woods at night, or the pain of stepping on something sharp and pointy. Write down a memory trigger on each of your slips of paper, then place the memory triggers in the container that has been provided for you. So, what we're going to do is each of us on the Roll20 is going to, once I actually, get the Roll20 to show up on the stream, there we go. We are going to write down 5 different memory triggers, and then I'll put them in the rollable table in the game. So yeah, basically like sensations, feelings, places, locations, people, vague enough that they can apply to like anyone. Yeah, so those are the examples.
Where are we writing these?
Just write them in chat in Roll20 so that I can see them and copy them to.
Whoops.
Wait, are we doing
The
them like?
sight of a plunger?
Are we writing all 5 at the same time?
I mean, we can do it whatever way you want. You can write all 5
I
at
mean,
the
when
same
I
time,
hit
just-
enter, it just sent it, so I was
Yeah,
just
you can just do
sending
it
them
one
one
at
at a time.
Shift enters usually.
Yeah, shift enter lets you go down. But
Ooh, interesting.
let's see.
Oh my gosh! I was thinking happy thoughts, but okay.
It can be anything,
Actually, wait, no. My first one's not a happy thought. What am I talking about?
Caleb, you didn't want to do the smell of wine and cheap perfume.
Oh, I should have. I literally didn't even think about it.
Okay, I gotta do something silly now.
Oh my gosh. I'm so bad at thinking of these.
All right, let me start adding them in.
5 should be interesting.
Time to swallow. What in the world?
What?
Have you not heard stuff like that? People will, like, swallow a
No,
goldfish
that makes
and
sense,
throw it
yeah.
back up.
What? No! Swallowing a goldfish and throwing it back up?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Weird
specifically.
people. Like, there's one that makes me just cringe every time I think of it, where you swallowed like a pool cue ball. You like an 8-ball. It's gross. You
Oh, man.
feared, Jordan?
Huh?
You scared?
You said makes you cringe. I'm like, I'm just gonna avoid this one.
No, it's the sound of it that makes me cringe. It's like,
Oh.
ugh. So you can't remember that. Notice I didn't say on purpose. It could have been an accident.
It's true. It's true.
I don't know how you do that accidentally, but
How would you?
I mean, I would assume that, like, I don't know.
I don't know how to play this game yet. I'm just making stuff up.
Let's see. What else?
For all I know, there's not all these are even going to get drawn.
Oh, all of them will be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Then you start thinking, knowing how these things work, it'll likely be me. Yours relates to my number 5.
Oh, wow. Well. The smell of fresh laundry. I love that smell. I don't like waking up with a bite on my leg, though. I don't think that's ever happened to me before.
It didn't say that you're waking up getting bit. So you woke up
With
and it was
a
fine.
bite.
Yes.
Get off my leg!
I was thinking of something very specific, and I figured I'd make it more general.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Being slapped in the face.
Yep.
I'm confused, Jordan. You guys don't taste that every time you eat dinner?
Wow.
Metal and sulfur.
I'm cooking my
You
eggs
might
wrong.
want to get things checked out. Yeah. You might be being cleaned.
No, that's my dog.
Okay, I'm gonna come up with one more, so it's gotta be a good one.
So it's just one more for Jordan, and then we're good.
One more for me.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
I don't even know what sulfur tastes like.
I
Know
what
what it
sulfur
smells
tastes
like. Ooh.
I know what it smells like too. I have an older brother.
No, oh my gosh, it smells so gross.
Mm.
Oh, I know. I've been to Yellowstone.
Yeah, that's I've been somewhere where they had hot springs.
That's awesome.
What do people have with that word? I don't get what's wrong with it.
Yeah, me neither, man.
Yeah.
I have
mean, it
friends.
doesn't
I have
bother me.
friends who like literally all the time just. Like,
Everybody has at least one friend who hates that word.
uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm thinking.
I had a friend that wanted to get we were at a Target, I think, and he wanted to go and get like the wall letters that you hang up outside your house or something. And he wanted to get #moist in all letters.
Oh dear.
Why? Ugh.
You not like that word, Emily?
But I don't care. I mean, we have to use it I have to use it at work to describe things. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. But like, why would you want giant hashtags of it?
Because people are trolls.
Like I don't really care. Yes or no, but it's just like, why?
Because
Real question.
To make people ask why.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I can't spell. There we go. Boom, whatever. Done.
Ooh, interesting.
Because that happened on Monday. There were such bad storms here.
Really?
I woke up and my bed was like shaking, and then I, through my window, like saw a giant lightning strike, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay."
Interesting. So, distribute pennies to patients. Next, each patient will take a penny from the bowl, saying, "A penny for my thoughts," as you do so. So everybody's gonna get 1 penny. Beep. A penny for my thoughts.
Are you giving us our pennies or are we taking our pennies?
I can't interact with the pennies.
I can't either.
I
which is
will
why
give
was
you the
asking.
pennies.
Yay, a penny for my thoughts.
A penny for my thoughts.
A penny for my thoughts.
Hi, Kermit.
That wasn't Kermit.
It was
I
pretty
don't
close.
know what it was.
Who's Kermit?
We don't know anything. Anyway, so the pennies in front of you represent your ability to recall your lost memories. In your current state, it is impossible for you to remember even the simplest series of events. However, as you and your fellow patients help each other, the complexity of what you recall will increase. The reader will now give his or her penny to another patient, saying, "I will help you remember." The reader may choose who receives it by any means he or she wishes. The person chosen will be the first traveler, a role described in the next step. So, I am going to give my penny to you, Emily.
Take it.
I will help you
Okay.
remember.
Thank you.
Yeah, when this step is complete, the reader will have no pennies, 1 patient will have 2, and the remaining patients will have a single penny each. So, you've chosen the first traveler. Let's see. Prepare for the trip. To start the journey into memory, draw a memory trigger from the container. This memory trigger is connected to what you are about to recall. Read it aloud and show it to the guides. Let them absorb it through the sound of your voice and the shape of the letters on the paper. So, I'm going to go ahead and roll on the memory triggers here.
Okay.
We'll see which one we get. The smell of gasoline. No place it shouldn't be. Well, that's going to start it off with an interesting tone.
Start off with a bang.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
At this point, each guide, which is the rest of us who aren't the traveler, will ask a yes or no question about the traveler's memory, called a guiding question. The guides now have as much better connection to the traveler's mind than they did when they wrote down the memory triggers. What they see will be accurate, but it also lacks an important detail. Therefore, the traveler must answer each guiding question with the phrase, yes, and, followed by the missing detail. The guiding questions establish the context of the memory trigger and the starting point for the memory. They help the traveler begin the journey by clarifying the circumstances surrounding it and the importance of the things that are revealed in it. The reader will ask an additional guiding question of the first traveler. So, I'll ask 2 questions, and Seth and Jordan, you will ask Emily 1 question each. It's a yes or no question that Emily has to answer yes to, so you can have free reign with some interesting questions here.
I want to ask my.
Yeah, right. Emily will say yes, and then you'll
And.
add in an important detail. That they
Literally improv.
Yeah. So who would like to begin?
Oh,
So-
I have one. I have
Okay,
one.
go-
I have one. So did you find out how it got in the toilet?
Did you find out how it got in the toilet?
Are you to I just want to clarify before
Did you
I
mean
say
the
yes.
gasoline?
The gasoline?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay,
so say
okay.
the gasoline then. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
'cause
figure out how the gasoline got in the toilet?
Yeah.
Yes. And it was really strange because I don't know how the gasoline got to the building, but I just know I saw someone leaving the bathroom right before I went in, and they were carrying a gasoline can. And when I went in, there's gasoline in the toilet.
I had started off weird.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
All right. No, that's totally fine. Jordan, do you have an idea? Or...
I'm thinking still.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can think of one.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay. Good.
Was this the weekend your parents came to visit?
Yes, and I was just trying to get away from them for like 5 minutes because they were just really crowding me. I'm so used to not having them around. So I was just trying to go anywhere to get away. So I saw that one of my school buildings was open, so that's why I ran inside and decided to go to the bathroom while I was in there.
Did the person that supposedly poured the gasoline in the toilet, or was the person who supposedly poured the gasoline in the toilet someone important to you?
Yes, and I don't really know why he was in the girls' bathroom or why my brother was there in the first place, since he doesn't even go to my school.
The plot thickens.
Just like the toilet water.
Do you mean the toilet
Wow.
gasoline?
Oh wow. So my last question, because I asked two. Did you? Oh man, because like the stakes have been pretty low for this one so far. I'm just thinking of whether or not I want to raise them.
Go for it. You know what you want to do.
All right. Did you find your brother dead the next day?
Oh.
Yes, and I don't know how all of it's connected, but I obviously think there's something that brought him to the school and made him put gasoline in the toilets, and then seeing him the next day shot to death. I don't know how it all makes sense.
Now it's time to begin the journey. Once you have answered each of the guiding questions, let what you have learned fill your mind. The memory trigger and the guiding questions form the beginning of the story you are about to tell. To return to the traveler metaphor, the memory trigger and guiding questions are not the journey, but what happens before you set out. If you were asked, "Did your dog die?" then the memory would begin after the death of the dog. These details and events are what you are reacting to in your memory. Your memory will begin with a brief narrative explaining how the answers to the guiding questions tie together. The connections may be obvious, but reinforcing them is important. This introduction, however, is a prelude to your memory, so keep it brief. Don't get caught up in telling the guides about what they already know and delay your journey unnecessarily. To do this, close your eyes and free yourself from your surroundings. You may find it helpful to lie down, either on the furniture provided or on the floor. Let your mind leave your companions behind and travel to the beginning of the memory you are trying to recall. When you are ready, say, "I remember a time when," and begin recounting a lost memory, just as you would tell it to a child or to old friends you have not seen in years. You are now ready for the heart of the treatment process, the actual recollection of one of your memories. This will proceed in an iterative fashion, with your description of what you remember alternating with stops for help from the guides. While telling the story, you will be able to describe many of the details of your memory, such as what other people did or said, how you felt, or what you thought you or wanted. The process of recounting these details and incidents is straightforward. Simply tell your fellow patients what you see as you travel through your memory. There is a barrier, however, between your present self and your pre-trauma self that prevents you from recalling your own actions. Your amnesia is a result of something you did or said, and your mind has constructed this blockage as a self-defense mechanism. As you tell the story, you will be unable to see anything about your own actions or words. You will be able to sense in your memory where these moments occur, as you will encounter a blank spot and a sense of resistance. The only way you can regain your memory is to confront these choices and their consequences. This is where your fellow patients, as the guides, will help you. When you reach these key points in your memory, you will use your pennies to ask for guidance. Each piece of guidance will cost you a penny. After receiving this help from your guides, you will continue telling the story, stopping again when you reach another decision point. When you run out of pennies, your memory will be at an end. This isn't to say that absolutely everything you did or said is blocked from you. You will likely be able to remember on your own details of no consequence, like paying for a cup of coffee or thanking someone holding the door for you. It is precisely because these actions have no consequence that you can remember them. If at any point you begin to describe important actions you took, the guide should ask you, "Are you sure?" Keep in mind that they can see what you did more clearly than you can. Your mind will only let you see the consequences of your choices, not the choices themselves. If the guides point out that you are trying to describe them, stop and ask for guidance. Now, starting where you left off, tell us what you remember, stopping when you reach a point where you did or said something. So
That's
go
a
ahead.
lot to.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah, sorry.
like okay.
That was a lot. So basically, you're going to just start describing the story after the
After all
questions-
the events happen.
after those events that we described happen. So give us a quick explanation of how those events tie together and where the story starts, and then kind of tell us a brief narrative up to a point where you have to make a decision, and then I'll read the next part.
Okay, so I'm just describing how everything fits together, and then going into like a memory.
Yep.
Until
you
I'm
reach
supposed to like
A
say
decision
something.
or word or like something you say that has consequences, and you'll have to ask us, and I'll tell you how do you ask us when we get to that point.
Okay. How am I supposed to start it?
So just give us a brief description of how the events that we've already established tie together and set up the beginning of the narrative, and then
I think it said like to start with. I remember a time when.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is hard going first.
oh, that's right. Someone's stomach growled.
Okay.
I think.
That was mine
Okay.
from all the tea in it. Okay, so
Nice, Jordan.
Thank you.
okay.
I
So
didn't hear it, but I did see that. Caleb.
you guys are distracting me. Let me close my eyes so I can go on my memory journey.
It's not creepy or demonic at all.
Okay. So all of this was revolving around whatever plot that my brother was caught up in, that I don't quite remember like how everything came out to be, like what was going on with him. But I remember a time when I was in a room. It was very plain, and I was just sitting at a table, and there was a chair in front of me, and a police officer walked in, and he seemed like he was trying to be open about everything, but I could tell that he really was suspicious of me and thought I had done something wrong, and I was involved in something really bad that happened. And he started asking me questions. He was asking where I was when my brother had gotten shot, and if I owned a gun. And so I told him. So at this point, do I ask for
Yeah.
guidance?
So now that you have reached a point in your memory where you did or said something, hold out one of your pennies in a closed fist to one of the guides and say, "What did I do or say then?" The guide will take a moment to look into your memory and then will describe in a sentence or two what it is that he or she sees. And it basically, what happens here is Let's see. Due to the difficulty in peering deeply into your innermost memories, however, their vision is not perfect. Any number of false images might appear in your mind, childhood hopes and dreams, so on and so forth. As a safeguard against the possibility of error, you will ask a second guide to help you. Once the first guide is spoken, turn to another guide, present the same closed fist to him or her, and say, or was it? That person will then go through the same process. And then you choose one of the other, and you say, yes, I remember now, and repeat the correct guidance word for word, and then continue with the story. So you'll ask two of us, offering us a penny each time you do it, and then two of us will offer what you did then or said then.
Okay.
And they'll actually give your penny to whoever you choose.
Okay, Jordan, can I have some guidance?
Okay, yes, but can I be refreshed on?
Yeah. I need a refresher too. What's happening.
Every time I'm gonna say anything, I'm like, what do I do?
Right. So can we have?
What was the current situation? What was the exact thing that was happening?
The police officer was asking me questions about my brother being shot.
Right.
So
it's just what you said to the police officer.
Yeah.
I think you said my brother's been shot, and you were hysterical, and you just didn't know what to do with yourself, and you were very panicky.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna.
That's my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it? I feel like if I ask Seth, he's gonna make me say something really weird.
Not necessarily weird.
In all fairness, even if he does, you've got a pretty safe bet with me.
Okay, I'll gamble and see what Seth would have me say. Or was it?
You didn't want to lie, but you didn't tell him about your gun. You told him you didn't have one.
Well, that would be a lie, but.
But you didn't want. She didn't want to lie.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But she told him that she doesn't own a gun.
Ooh. Okay. I like Seth's actually. So.
Okay. Yep.
Booyah!
Can you give a penny to Seth, please?
1 penny for Seth.
That adds some intrigue. Okay.
To be fair, George could have been interpreted as mine as well.
Yeah.
So how does the narrative continue then?
Okay. Oh, so I keep going on at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So that happens, right? You lie to the police officer about not owning a gun.
Right, and I mean,
because you still have one more. You go until you run out of pennies, and so you'll reach one more decision point, and then offer that, and then you'll narrate out to its conclusion.
Okay, so as soon as I tell the cop that I don't own a gun, his face changes because they had checked up, and he told me that we know you own a gun. So that put me in a sticky situation since he knew I was lying, which he then started yelling at me saying, "We know you're lying," and kept yelling at me asking, "Why did you kill your brother?"
Wow, this isn't a very good police officer.
No, it isn't.
Objection, leading the witness.
Yeah, and then he was just yelling at me until another cop walked in. Good cop. and he came in.
His first name was Good.
Yes, good
Last
cop.
name Cop.
It was actually a dog, so he was a very good cop. No. So he came in and kind of had the other cop, they calmed down a little bit and have him leave the room, and he started apologizing to me how my brother had died, and just kept asking me where was I when it happened, and if I knew anybody who would want to hurt my brother. And I said, me, Caleb.
You said, my brother has been falling into a bad crowd recently, and I think they put him up to something that ended up with him being killed.
Okay. Jordan.
So it's basically the same question with the better cop.
Yeah, if I knew anybody who wanted to hurt my brother.
Okay. I think you might have laughed nervously and said, "I know I certainly wouldn't. He was a great guy. He never did anything wrong to anybody."
Wow.
I'm gonna give it to Caleb so I don't get arrested.
All right, so just kind of describe it out to its conclusion now, right? Like what happens as a result of that choice.
So I told the cop that I thought he'd been getting kind of caught up in the wrong kind of crowd, and it could have been them who hurt my brother. And the cop thanked me for the information, and I gave him information I my brother's password ideas that for my brother's social media and anything that he might have, but they left me in the room, and then I just sat there waiting, and the memory fades out.
Interesting.
Kind of funny because Jordan, your suggestion is actually what I was leading to.
Well, that's kind of what my first suggestion was somewhat hinting at.
Oh gosh, you know what I'd completely forgot is that the first memory is recall a pleasant memory. Right?
Well, okay.
So basically the answer okay, so here, let me look here. So the end of this. So you conclude the journey. Now you've given up your last penny, bring the memory to a close. And that is what I remember. Then fill out the next section of your questionnaire, where it says, when I think of blank, I remember. Fill in the blank with the memory trigger that began the journey. Then write down the core event of your memory. Finally, answer the question listed in that section of the questionnaire. So.
Caleb, can I ask why Seth has 3 pennies and you have 0?
Because.
He gave his to me.
Sorry, I need 1. There you go.
Oh yeah. There we
I
go.
gave
I
mine
was
to
like,
Seth
wait.
for some reason.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's why.
That's why. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, Seth shouldn't have 3 pennies. So. Yeah, I totally forgot about that, so I apologize. So when you think of the smell of... Wait, let me... Jeez, the font size on this... Whoa, that's too big. The smell of gasoline in a place it shouldn't be.
Would have been helpful to know it was supposed to be a pleasant memory.
Sorry about that. That's my bad.
I would have started with it in the bathroom if it was supposed to be pleasant.
So you know what? Let's just skip that one for now. Let's just start with 2. It's totally fine. Like we can. It doesn't really matter the order of the first 2 at all.
Okay.
So let's just have everybody start with recall an unpleasant memory, and then we'll just recall a pleasant
Start
memory.
off with the negative.
Yeah. So what was unpleasant about it?
Dead brother.
My brother died.
Dead brother.
Yeah.
Questioned by cops. Also lying to cops. There we go. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let me double check how this goes. So, and we should write down the core memory of this. So basically, what's going on? Oh, that's why. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm just trying to write something. So, just writing this down so we remember. So, gasoline in the toilet. Brother dead.
No.
Cops questioning. There you go.
Questioning.
Yeah. So take a deep breath and take 1 penny from the bowl. Again, repeating a penny from my thoughts. It is now another patient's turn to be a traveler. So you get 1 penny.
A penny for my thoughts.
But okay. So I'm just curious about the filling in the questionnaires. The pennies, how exactly that works. 'Cause I haven't played this in a while.
And if we screw up, we're still having fun.
I'm not having fun. My brother's dead. I lied to the police.
So you will now choose the next traveler based on the number of pennies people have. In order to be the traveler, you must have enough pennies to complete the next section of your questionnaire. 2 for the first section, 3 for the second,
okay.
4 for the third.
Think of it like this, Emily. It's all uphill from here.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so the next one is Seth because he has 2 pennies.
I think so, yeah.
Wait, no. Jordan, did Jordan get 1 of my pennies?
No.
Oh, no, because just kidding. I chose
You get-
Caleb's.
yeah.
I was like, wait.
Yeah,
Okay, never mind.
you chose
Yeah, I
Seth's
chose Seth and then yours.
and mine, yeah.
So Emily should have 1. I should
Yeah.
have 2.
No, you should have
No,
1.
you have 1 because she didn't choose.
Also, at the start of the new round, does everybody get a new one?
Just
No,
the
Just
traveler.
the traveler.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that. That makes sense.
Yep. So more than 1 person has enough pennies to be the next traveler. Whoever among them has the most blank sections on his or her questionnaire will go next. Okay. So cool. So Seth, I'm gonna roll.
Technically, it says I need 2, but
Right, you have
3,
2
but-
pennies.
You have to.
No, it says
yeah.
I need 3.
Right, but we're acting like the unpleasant is the first.
Okay.
I mean, so
Okay, gotcha.
let's actually, I guess, just maybe start. Let's have everybody else just do pleasant memory.
Okay, and I'll just have a longer pleasant
yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You'll
You gave her a really dark memory to
Yeah.
start with.
Yeah.
Didn't really have an option there.
Yep.
Unless I was happy my
Okay,
brother
So
died.
keep. Well, that would be the thing, right? I think that's happened a couple times when we played this. We've forgotten about what section we were on, and we're like, wait, how was that pleasant? Oh no! And then had to make up that we were actually some sort of really horrible person who enjoyed their family members dying. Okay, so I'm gonna take out the gasoline one, and then we'll roll on the table. So your pleasant memory is about the taste of metal and sulfur.
Dang it.
So.
You got the metal and sulfur one?
Yep.
So now
Sorry.
we'll each let's see, we'll each ask a yes or no question, and then I think Emily, you're the one who asks.
I asked 2.
Wait. Oh, for subsequent travelers, any guide who has given a penny to that patient during the choose the traveler phase will ask an additional guiding question.
Yeah, because I gave him a penny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it says any guide who has given a penny to that patient during.
Okay, so then when you go, somebody else has given you a penny, me and the other person, to ask you an additional question.
Oh, during the choose the traveler phase? Let me look at this again.
Taste of metal and sulfur. I don't know what to do with that. I'm glad you guys are asking me leading questions because I don't know what to do with that.
I think it just means you, yeah. Let's just
Okay.
do it that way, because I don't know what it would mean otherwise.
Okay.
I haven't played this game in a while. I meant to read through it. I read through it once on Monday. I meant to read through it again before we started, but I ran out of time. So each of us is gonna ask a yes or no question that you have to answer yes and Seth, and yeah,
Yes.
Emily will ask too. So anyone have an idea?
I think I have one.
Hit me with it.
Do you have this strange obsession for popping firecrackers in your mouth?
Well,
Yeah, it didn't. It was more of a competition between me and my older brother. He was the one who's always saying like, pop it in your mouth, see how long you can keep it in there before you spit it back out again. The competition was to see how long you keep it in there, and it's like a game of chicken. Just like who can hold it in there the longest without spitting it out. And sometimes you just get used to things that are stupid.
Wait, is that how you met your wife, who's a dentist?
that's so funny.
Yeah, there's better ways to meet people, but when you tell a story like that, some people find that kind of thing endearing, and you know what? It really helped because I needed the dental work and got it for me kind of cheap.
Oh wow.
This worked out well, actually.
Ironically, did you get married on the 4th of July?
Yeah. I mean, when else are you gonna do it? Although she wouldn't let me. After that, she wouldn't let me put firecrackers in my mouth anymore. She wouldn't let me do it. I mean, that was the last night she let me put a firecracker in my mouth. She said past that she was the only firecracker allowed in my mouth.
Oh my gosh! What? No.
Blame Jordan, not me.
Oh my gosh! What?
Sounds like
Oh dear. Oh dear.
that's a different kind of bang.
And Caleb's out.
Jordan had to hide while he said that.
Well, that certainly was something.
I could go on. But
No,
we can-
please
Don't.
I'm not-
No, don't distract me. I'm trying to think of the last question. Has your brother dared you to do other kinds of crazy stuff like that?
Okay. Yeah. And I've done them from time to times, but when you get married and you get older, you kind of have to put those silly things aside.
Interesting. All right. So go ahead and start with. So explain to us how all of those pieces kind of fit together, and are the foundation for the story that you're going to tell us, Seth.
So should I tell the story of how the meeting the wife part?
Well, so all of those things has already happened. Remember, so you've already married. All of the things that the questions are the foundation for the story, and these happen before the story starts. So you can't tell the story of meeting your wife because it's already happened.
Oh, so I have to tell the story probably. Okay, so let's see.
So it has to be
After,
after the last question chronologically. Like anything that's happened in any of the questions we asked you has to start after that.
I remember a time, probably married about 10 years at this point, and I was out camping with the family. It was a pretty good time, out in the wilderness. And my brother's like, hey, come on, let's go. I'm like, what do you want to do? I'm like, just come on. And okay, am I allowed to go with that without making a decision point?
Yeah, it just has to be anything that would have major consequences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
we'll stop you if you get to a point and we go too far.
Because I'm leading to one. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't it.
That's fine.
And so I followed my brother out. It's a place we haven't been to before, so he must have found something weird, or I figured it was a dead animal or just something like that. He's an odd guy like that, but he brings me out.
I dare you to put this in your mouth.
He brought me out to this large edge of a cliff with this waterfall. It looked beautiful and everything, but I could tell just by seeing it what he wanted me to do. So he looks at me, kind of wiggles his eyebrows, and he says, come on. And that's that point where this is the point where I stopped.
So waterfall, you said?
Yeah, it was like a cliff base, like the base of a cliff. There's like the water at the So
Right.
like there's like a waterfall off to my right in front. There's just a water in front of me, maybe about like 20-30 foot drop to the
Right.
water below.
Gotcha. So yeah, you have to pose it to us, to one of us.
So
To
Jordan,
Yeah.
since you technically haven't had one gotten yet, I'm giving you an opportunity.
I'm not going to go with my first thought. Okay, so I think what happened was you looked at him and say, "Come on, man, you know that I put this stupid stuff aside, this stupid stuff behind. I've got a wife, I've got kids that I've got to take care of, and this could be really dangerous."
Okay, or Emily.
So he says, "Come on." Is that what he said?
He said, "Come on."
And you say, you whisper very fiercely, saying, "Okay, but like you can't tell my wife." And take a running, jumping cannonball into the water.
Oh, I gotta think about this.
It would not hurt my feelings at all if you go for hers.
But the thing is, it has to be a happy memory.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your wife joins you. Who knows?
You still have another decision point after this.
I know, so I'm trying to think of one that leads to a decision point. Because one of those leads to something that's a good memory. One of those leads to something.
I mean, not necessarily.
Funny. No. Like, given what I'm thinking in my head, one of those leads to another decision point.
Right.
One of those leads to just something that's a happy memory in my head.
Right.
Okay, I got one. I'm gonna go because I kind of want to go with Jordan's because I had a funny story in my head. So. Yeah, I'm telling him, I'm not doing this. I've had my fun, but I need to be a bit more responsible with what I did. I kind of met, meeting your wife by doing something stupid. It's not good confidence builder for you to keep doing those sorts of things. So he looks at me he laughs at me like, okay, your choice. And he runs back. He starts moving back away from the base of the cliff. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then he starts running. I'm like, wait, where's he going? And I see him running. Also, I see him start running toward me, yelling, "Cannonball!" Except he had taken his shoes off, and I had not because I didn't know where he was going. And the road was the ground was a little slippery. So as he's running, he slips on a pile of mud and flies face first into the mud. And I just could not help but start laughing. And luckily he did. He was laughing too, and he looked at me. He's like, "Okay, maybe I'm a little too old for this too." And so we walked back to the campsite. And not realizing he had forgotten his shoes. And we get back, we get there, he's all covered in mud, scuffed up, and he actually, one thing I forgot to mention is his girlfriend was there too, and I'm not sure she's been privy to some of the stories as he's asked me to, and I quote, "shut it." So as we get there, both of the girls just look at us and ask, "What the heck happened?" And Caleb,
You said my brother fought off a bear. They were basically mud wrestling, and you like you tell them this obviously completely false story, but you like just play it up like no tomorrow. I don't know how it goes, but yeah.
Or Emily.
Oh, jeez. That's so good that I want you to choose Caleb's anyway.
Right?
So you can do one that's like very similar to that, except for the slight change, right? You can force him to choose something.
Or
It wasn't a bear. It was actually Seth.
So remember, the another thing to keep in mind here is the memory has been triggered by the taste of metal and sulfur. So it has to eventually kind of tie into that somewhat.
Oh.
Okay. So
Right, because otherwise you wouldn't have remembered that because of that memory trigger.
I can tie it back in pretty
Okay,
easily.
gotcha.
or you say say well, we were mud wrestling and clearly you can see which one of us won.
I actually kind of like that one
Yeah,
too. So to save face for my older brother, I tell him, obviously, we were mud wrestling, and clearly I was the winner. And he protests that, and he protests, yet at the same time decides not to give a real answer. And finally, after getting cleaned up, he walks out of his tent, comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, brother." He comes up to me, hands me a brown paper bag, and says, "Happy birthday." Open up and see a bag full of firecrackers. And I look to him, I say, "We can't set them off here." And he says, "I know," pointing to my mouth.
You can prevent wildfires.
But then we hug, and it was a good birthday.
Interesting that you decided the person who won mud wrestling was the clean one.
Yeah, I threw him in the mud. He didn't get out of it.
I mean, I left it open for choice on who wins mud wrestling, the clean one or the muddy one.
Clearly the one that doesn't look beat up.
So...
A needle falling grass.
Oh, God. So when you think of the taste of metal and sulfur...
I was thinking,
What a pleasant memory.
I think of my brother.
You think of my brother and the crazy stunts he talked me into.
It's a fun game.
What was pleasant about it?
The taste of metal and sulfur.
So great.
The memories and the positive consequences.
The positive consequences of your decisions.
Romans 8:28.
All right, so it's Jordan next.
Can we take a quick break?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go ahead and do that. So we will be back shortly with some more A Penny for My Thoughts. When we return, stick around. We got more Penny for My Thoughts coming at you.